Welcome to the Dual Parent Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Les, man. Welcome to the revamped Dual Power Podcast. Man, it has been a journey with me with content creation, guys. I am hot and cold with it. I'm here and there with it. However, this time around, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to lower my expectations for myself. Because I've tried to do a couple podcasts. I tried to do it with my buddy Chris called the Hack and Slash podcast. Actually, this might be my second time doing a podcast. I only really remember doing a podcast. Maybe it's the third, actually, because I believe when I was under the flagship of Bigums, I tried to do like somewhat of a podcast, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't really remember. It's just I've been so on and off with it, but the main issue is that I tend to look for immediate success. With content creation, you just have to keep putting out a product and people just gravitate to it. So that's what I'm going to do. And the point of me doing this podcast is I like sharing my thoughts and my perspective. I like having a conversation and debating. That is mainly what I like to do. So this episode is going to be pretty short. What can you expect from this podcast? Well, I'm a video gamer. I'm a gamer. I play on PC and I love video games. So we're going to be talking about video games. We're also going to be talking about sports. I'm a huge Washington Commanders fan. Go Commanders. JD5, we're back on the rise next year. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it from any of you guys. All right. We're going to secure the win. All right. We're going to secure. All right. But with that being said, I know that football season is kind of coming to a close. However, we're still going to talk about it. We're still going to talk about the playoffs. We're still going to talk about the Super Bowl and all that jazz. So, and then other shenanigans, whether it's stuff in the world, whether it's music or movies or stuff like that. Definitely, it's just going to be a broad range of stuff. So if you like some of that stuff, definitely come back and give me a listen. I'm going to try to pick a day where I release the podcast episodes. I'm going to limit myself to either one or two a week. I don't want to stress myself out. I don't want to feel like I have to do something if I don't want to. And that's kind of what's deterred me in the past. It's like, I always felt like, oh damn, I gotta drop it. I do want to pick a day for it to drop, right? Like, so every Friday, Dual Powered Podcast episode comes out. That way you guys know, hey, he's dropping on Friday. I just don't want to overwhelm myself. I still work a full-time job. I'm trying to move up with that. And so I might not have a lot of time to dedicate to this, but I still want to do it because this is something I truly and genuinely enjoy. Speaking of video games, I have beaten 2 games so far this year. I have beaten Judgment, which, if you guys don't know what that game is, it is kind of like a spin-off of the Yakuza series, where instead of playing like a Yakuza gangster, you're playing a cop. And basically he's trying to solve a crime, which definitely cool. I have not played the Yakuza series at all. I did purchase it during the winter Steam sale, like literally 0 all the way to like 6, I believe is the series. So I have purchased it, so I am going to play through it at some point. But because it was a lot like Judgment, I've kind of needed a break from that kind of like game, because it's basically like a beat 'em up game. Like you go in the streets, hand-to-hand combat, whoop whoop whoop, bing bing bing, and you sending people to the knockout, to the gulag. And then the second game that I have beaten is Rise of the Ronin. I spent over 60 hours on Judgment and over 90 hours on Rise of the Ronin. Really, really enjoyed Rise of the Ronin. I'm not gonna lie, it was as if a Dark Souls game and Ghost of Tsushima had a kid. There were some things I didn't like about both of the games, I'll be honest, but I'm not here for the review. This isn't like a review episode or anything. But I definitely highly recommend those 2 games if you have not already played them and if they're up your alley. So man, let's talk about football, dude. So the divisional round has closed. So far, so on my Fantasy Leagues app, you can actually create like a bracket, like a little fun bracket of like who you think's going to win. And so far, my bracket is standing true. Okay. And I'm very excited about that. However, the two teams that I have going to the Super Bowl are the Broncos and the Seahawks. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think it's going to happen with Bo Nix breaking his ankle, which that whole thing is fishy. Let's just be honest. That whole thing is just weird. But with that being said, I don't think the Broncos are going to be able to beat the Patriots. The Patriots had a very solid win against the Texans, and I wouldn't say that they played like astronomically well. The Texans shot themselves in the foot. Let's just say these quarterbacks in this playoff have not taken care of the football. I just got to call a spade. I mean, you know, Josh Allen threw like 2 picks and fumbled 3 times. I think CJ Stroud threw an interception, like 3 or 4 of them. I don't know. Like Caleb Williams threw 2. Even Stafford threw 1 at least. So it's like these quarterbacks are just not taking care of the football this postseason. And I find that to be crazy. That on the biggest stage of football, you guys are just like, we're just out here balling. You know what I mean? Like we're not even going to try to, you know, save face about it. We're just going to let it rip, you know, some Brett Favre shit. So, I think that's a little crazy, but you know, we got the Patriots and the Broncos, and we got the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, my new prediction, not counting my bracket from my fantasy league, I have the Patriots and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. I know that a lot of people like Matthew Stafford. I get it. He's a great quarterback. I think the Seahawks have the better team, like on both sides of the ball. Because now, granted, they did dominate the 49ers, but I'm going to cut the 49ers some slack. They only got CMC. If we're being honest on that offense, that is the only person they have. I know that they have Juwan Jennings and they got some other receivers, but Kittle's hurt. Brian Robinson, their backup running back, does nothing for them. He's an ex-commander, so I have experience with that. And none of their other wide receivers have really like stepped up or stepped into a role of being the guy. They don't have Brandon Ayuk either. So it's just one of those things where it's like, it's kind of easy to game plan for a team when you know the one guy they're going to give the ball to. So I know that the Seahawks beat them like 41-6 or 40-6 or something of that nature. But to be fair, the Rams are a different monster. The Rams got Devontae Adams. They got Puka Nacua. They have Kyron Williams. Blake Corum's okay. Their tight ends are okay. And they have a good defense, you know? So it's like, it's a different animal, and it's another division game. That's crazy. The Seahawks beat the 49ers also in their division, and they're going to have to play the Rams, who are also in their division. So honestly, that game is 50-50. If we're calling it right down the middle, it is a 50-50 game. I just have the confidence in, I just want Sam Darnold to win, man. I'm just going to be honest. I'm biased. I want Sam Darnold to win. He's had such a remarkable like turnaround in his career, just like Baker, man. Like just like Jared Goff. Like those 3 quarterbacks, everybody was crucifying probably 5 years ago. Oh, they're garbage. They're trash. They're not going to do anything. And all 3 of them have turned it around and are now considered to be good quarterbacks. I'm not going to say great, but good quarterbacks. So it's like, I kind of just, I'm believing in the Sam Darnold story. That's, you know, that's what I'm kind of putting my hope in. But that's all I got for you guys today. Like I said, it was a quick episode. I wanted to introduce myself, kind of have a kickoff episode, and then we'll really start getting into like, you know, some more content. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do 2 episodes. I think I'm going to try to release one on like a Tuesday and then one on a Friday. And I'm going to try to have like a gaming one and then a sports one, or others like music, sports, entertainment, what's going on in you know, pop culture, so to speak. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split it up like that. And hopefully you guys come and listen and enjoy, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Spotify or Apple Music. So that's going to be it for the podcast, guys. It's your boy Jay Les. See you later.